Happening right now, live pictures from inside the courtroom. Johnny Depp's defamation trial does continue. This is in Fairfax, Virginia. Depp is suing ex-wife Amber Heard for $50 million. The actor claims his career took a huge hit after Heard painting him as an abuser. Depp's former manager backed that up in court. Listen.
Is there any other role or business opportunity that Mr. Depp has lost since you started representing him in October 2016?
I would say yes.
And what?
The Pirates, the next Pirates movie.
What is your understanding of why Mr. Depp lost Pirates 6?
My opinion is that it was related to the accusations that Amber has made.
I want to bring in criminal defense attorney Sara Azari to talk more about this. So what is your initial take on that testimony that is coming straight from Johnny Depp's agent at the time?
Good morning. Yeah, that was critical testimony for two reasons. Number one, this was a CIA agent who represented not just Johnny Depp, but also Amber Heard. And his testimony goes to two things, Cheyenne. One is the idea that Amber Heard sort of is painted as this fame-seeking, money-hungry person, because there were conversations between them that he testified to where he tells her, well, then stop dating famous rich men if you don't want to be in the spotlight. And it seems like that is what she was motivated by. Secondly, it goes to the issue of damages, which is very important in this case. The idea that it was within a couple days after this op-ed was published that the headlines came out and that this particular agent had conversations with studio executives who were clearly not comfortable with hiring Depp for this sixth Pirates of the Caribbean. So that's really important because that is technically what he's suing for in this defamation lawsuit, even though we know that this is more about his truth and not about prevailing in this trial.
And we do have that moment you're referring to. I do want to play it when you're referring to her dating men of, high celebrity. Take a listen.
You weren't in love with him, and you told me 1,000 times you were just filling space. What are you saying there?
I'm saying, why would you be sad if you weren't in love with them to begin with?
You say you could avoid all this if you stopped dating uber famous people. You can be with a big man who isn't famous.
I believe what I was saying was, if you don't like being in the press about your personal life, then don't date people that are famous.
Your reaction to that?
Good point, because we also heard from Depp's divorce attorney, Laura Wasser, who testified that, she had spoken to Samantha Spector, who was Heard's attorney, about keeping this case out of the system, because typically in celebrity divorce cases, you really don't want the public attention around it. You try to keep it hush-hush, and they vehemently refused. She wanted to be in the spotlight. She wanted to have the press, even though it was negative. And so it's starting to look like she wants the attention. She was motivated by that. She was motivated by the money, dating, famous men. And then you also have to pair this up, Cheyenne, with the other testimony yesterday. The LAPD officer who said there was no evidence of domestic violence or any property damage that indicated there was any physical altercation. Case closed, verbal altercation. You had the Eastern Columbia doorman, who happens to be my doorman, Alejandro Romero, in that surreal testimony in his car vaping, saying he never saw any bruises or marks on her following this alleged incident. So when you take this in the totality, her credibility and her character are really being called into question. And it's almost like her argument's going to be the psychiatrist lied, the doctors lied, the police failed, and Amber Heard's the only one telling the truth.
And it certainly does, see right now, I'm looking at this, he has the momentum, it seems like, in Depp's hands going forward. So even if he can prove, that these abuse claims did hurt his career, is that enough for him to win this case?
No, Shan, because the difficult part in a defamation lawsuit and why high profile individuals don't bring it, even if they feel defamed or believe they're defamed, is that intent element. The idea that you have to show that the publication or the statements were made with actual malice. But again, I think he's already winning because he's telling his truth, and he is the more likable and more credible party in this lawsuit. Ultimately, he has to show actual malice to be able to win this lawsuit and recover the $50 million plus punitive damages.
And there was another point in court, you know, a lot of these moments going viral here because people are watching and it's entertaining for some. Johnny Depp is doodling in court. We've got some video of it. This was on TikTok, and you see, we're zooming in here. He passes a note that he had been doodling on to his attorney. A lot of people obviously find this comical. You know, what do you make of this?
You know, this is, he's an artist. He's also he's not just a movie star, but he's very creative. And I think he's been living this horrible reality where he believes he's falsely accused for 6 years. And so a lot of this is just, you know, on repeat for him. So some of this is, you know, maybe a little bored, but it's an outlet for him to do this. And I think he did a lot of that doodling and a lot of giggling during the doorman's testimony, because he just, you know, it's almost like he's siding with how nonchalantly this guy is testifying to all of this. But ultimately, I think this is going to really bear on credibility. And although we're only halfway through, we have another 3 weeks, it seems like credibility and likability is on Depp's side.
All right, I will point out that was a moment in court where they had a bit of a break. They were waiting for jurors to enter in, so it wasn't during actual testimony. Sara Azari, thank you so much for your expertise. I really appreciate it.